Hello folks, and welcome to today's lecture. I am OLANO TEAH BLOH, prefers to be called Guru B. So today, as you can see on my screen, we are going to be talking about SQL. So let me take you first to some theoretical aspect of SQL. So we say that SQL stands for a structured query language. So SQL is a language. It's a structured query language. And SQL lets you access and manipulate databases. So SQL became a standard of the American National Institute of Standard Institute, the ANSI, in 1986, some history, and of the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, in 1987. So SQL, what are some things SQL can do? Maybe you might be very new to SQL, so you want to know what are some of the things that SQL can be able to do. So SQL can execute queries against the database. When we refer to queries, we mean refer to information, like you want to get information, you want to retrieve information from a database. You can be able to query them, a specific information, and you can be able to retrieve data from a database, and you can insert record into a database, like a new employee record. If you have a new employee coming into the company, you can insert record into a database. You can update the database where maybe you have a specific thing or enter feed in the database, like maybe you left one of the information, maybe the date of birth or the first name. You forget to put the person's first name in the database. You can be able to update the database, and you can be able to delete some records. Maybe if the person leaves the company, or maybe if you make some mistakes, you can be able to delete some records. And you can create new databases. You can be able to create new tables in the database, and you can create store procedures, and you can create views, and you can set some permission on your tables and procedures and views. So these are some most important SQL commands. We'll be using some select. So select is to extract data from a database. Like you want to select from a specific table, select from a specific database. You can really use that command. Update, like we said, we use to update information to a database. To delete is to remove. So to use these commands, you use exactly as it is. Like you notice that most of the commands are all in caps. So all caps, then is the command. There are some commands we used for lowercase, but like you see here, this one on the left, they are all the commands, like select, update, and what have you. So insert into is to insert new data into database. Create database, so easy. Create database. So if you want to create a database, you just create database. If you want to delete a database, you delete and the database name. Update a database, update database name. Select start from the database name. Author database, to modify some information about, maybe you want to modify the tables, you want to modify the columns, so you can use the order statement. And create some table, as in the same name, create table. Drop a table means to delete that table, and create some indexes to be able to speed up the process. Maybe you create some indexes on a specific or the most used table or the most used database. You can create some index so they can be able to speed up the search aspect of that particular table or that particular database. To drop an index, maybe that database is no longer like active or frequently used, you can drop the index on it. So this is some like kind of overview about SQL. And now let's just do a simple thing about SQL today. Maybe in a later video we're gonna do much more advanced processes in database administration. So let me take you to what okay. Let me see if I have SQL here. Okay, I think I do. So I'm using a 2008 version of SQL, and if you want to know how to install SQL, is another process, but just in case you already have your SQL installed and if you want to be able to use it. So now if you just open like this, you click on new query. New query gives you this view. You can be able to come here like expound the databases. I have some databases here that are used for work and are used for practices, like this one called AdventureWorks. AdventureWorks is a very huge database. You see, you have so many tables in this database, so many tables, and a whole lot of information are here to be able to practice whatsoever thing you want to practice with SQL. But let's not go to that. Another day we're going to do that. So today we're going to be creating a database, create some table, and put some information in the table, be able to update that table because we forget some information basically. So let's see how we're going to do that, right? So to create a database, like we said, we just use the command create. Create database, and the name of the database, for example, maybe Guru Lab. I want to create a database called Guru Lab, right? So I can select this and I come here to execute, and I execute it. So you see that the command completed successfully. So to be able to see the database here, I can be able to come on database and right click and refresh. Now you see that I have Guru Lab here. Okay, so we have Guru Lab, and basically I don't think we have any information in Guru Lab. So we can be able to use Guru Lab to be able to use the database. We say use Guru Lab, right? Use Guru Lab. So we can select this guy and execute it. Now, if you see here, now the database is in use now. First it was on the master database. By default, it will be on the master database. So you have to use this command use and the database name. Then, for example, if I want to use another database, I can say use AdventureWorks. Maybe I want to use this database, I can execute it. Now you see here I have the AdventureWorks and activated. So if I want to go back and use the Guru Lab, I can be able to say use Guru Lab. Okay, so it was just it. Then now we have to create, we have the database, but it's very empty. So we can be able to put in some, create a table in a database, right? So to create a table, we say create table. Create table, and the name of the table, maybe this table is going to be our employee table, and we'll open parenthesis here and say there's a field called employee table. I mean the employee ID, and the data type should be int. So employee ID should be int. We want it to be integers. So int the employee last name or first name, any way you can say it. So let's say last name. Employee last name should be a varchar. So comprised of variables and characters. So it can be varchar, and we want the length of this to be 255 characters. Maybe the person might have a longer name. So we just leave it as 255, or we can reduce it or have a specific value here. And we can have a first name, as we have a last name, we should have first name. First name, maybe you can use the same varchar and have the same 255. And have the employee address. Employee address, we can do the same varchar. Maybe 255. Then we can have the employee, maybe you want to put city or what have you. Anyway, how we can do it, like any information based on what you have or what you want to get from the employee. So I want to have the employee address, and I want to have a specific city of that employee. So I can close this. And compile it. Not basically compile it, just execute it. So I executed this, and now if I want to see basically what I have here. So let's see what we have. Select star from employee table, right? So highlight this and execute it. Now you see you have a table here with a first name, last name, employee ID, first name, last name, address, and city. So basically this is how you create a database, you create a table, you'll be able to navigate like this one. So for now, we just have this table and we don't have any information in it. What if you have this case and you forget to add another column or another field? Maybe you want to get an employee year of birth. So what can you do here? You can use the author command, ALTER, author table, and the table name. The table name is employee. Then what do you want to do? I want to add a column. What's the name of the column? I want to add a column for year of birth, right? And it should be integer, right? So here I can highlight this guy and I execute it. Now if I try to view my employee table again, I'm going to see that now I have a year of birth. So it's useful just in case you have new tables, new columns to import into to insert into the database or into the table. You can be able to use this command to alter. So we alter the table and we want to modify a table. So now what we can do here is to be able to put some information in, because we don't want to have a blank database. So what we can do, we can insert. We use the command insert into the table name, employees table. What do you want to, which information do you want to put in? I want to insert employee ID. I want to put in like an employee last name. I want to put the first name. I want to put the employee address. I want to put the employee city, right? And I want to put in the year of birth. Or let's do it so that we can be able to use another command. Let's stop it here. I will show you maybe what we want to do next for this case, and that'll be very useful for you. So here you put the values, and the value should be for employee ID. You open a quote and put in ID 0001 or whatever ID you want to use. For the last name, you can put any name, maybe you put Doe, or you put Jeek. Jeek is the employee last name. Employee first name is Techie, and employee address is Congo Town. And employee city is Monrovia, right? So far and so forth, we are done about this. So basically what you do here, employee ID should, as to be in the same sequence, the same structure. So it's a structure query language. So now let's try to execute this and see if it works. So now you say one row has been affected. So we can view it from here. See, let's start from employees and see that we have employee ID 1, last name Jeek, first name Techie, address is Congo Town, city is Monrovia, but there is no year of birth. So if maybe you just came into the office and you try to log into the database and you realize that some of the employees' information are not there. So what can you do? So the best thing you can do is to use a command called update. Use a command called update. So you update each table. You want to update the employees table. And what do you want to update? I want to set the year of birth. Right? I want to set a year of birth. I want to set a year of birth to be equals to maybe 1847, where where the employee ID is equals to 1. So for now, just have one. Maybe if you have like 5,000 employees and you don't want to put all of the information, you can just look for one key information here. So basically the employee ID is mostly used. So you can say where the employee ID is 1, obviously it's going to be this employee. And I want to set the year of birth because the year of birth here is known, there is no character here. So let's see if this is going to work. And you click on execute. So you see that it works. So we can be able to view it and see what we have here. So now we have this fee has been filled. Year of birth is 1847. So basically this is just a beginner lesson to SQL, and this is not really like beginner, but you can also use this for a larger database, especially using the auto, using the insert, and using the update commands. These are very, very powerful commands for a very huge database, especially the update and the auto database. Very, very, very useful. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and you can leave your comments and your suggestion if you have one. Once again, I'm OLANO TEAH BLOH, prefers to be called the Guru B. Thanks.